and this is a competitive Euro game where players will be collecting different resources, combining those resources along with different tools in order to forge them into different items to complete different objective cards and score victory points. You'll also be scoring all sorts of victory points throughout the game, and of course the winning player at the end of the game will be the one who has scored the most. Each player has their own personal player board where you're going to be keeping your 4 workers that you can upgrade throughout the game, but then you're also going to have a special blacksmith worker that is a little bit stronger than your regular workers. You're also going to be tracking which tools that you've unlocked throughout the game, as well as the different abilities that they will grant you. And each round, players will be taking turns putting their workers out onto the main board, and there's a few different action spots that you can choose from, but most of them will have a limit of how many workers can exist on that space. So as you put your workers out, some of these spaces will get filled up, limiting the other players' options. The top row of actions allows players to take a number of resources of that specific type, or if you put your blacksmith token there, you'll actually be able to take the highest available space +1. But then there's also the trading post where you can buy or sell different items and resources, or the plaza where you can pay to move your blacksmith to another action spot. The guilds, which will gain you a guild card which comes with a special benefit or ability, as well as some different icons that you'll be using for set collection throughout the game for some additional victory points. And then at the bottom of the board there's a development action which will allow you to gain an ability card. Then there's the equipment action where you can gain different permanent abilities by unlocking different equipment, and these equipment may be required for completing different contract cards. The training location allows you to gain a card that you're going to be assigning specifically to one of your workers, and that's going to give your worker a special ability every time you use it. And then finally, of course, there are the different contract cards, and to complete these cards you're going to be trying to fulfill the number of resources that they display, and then take a forge action in order to complete that item. Like I said, you might also need some special equipment in order to complete these cards, but of course this is the main way to gain victory points. But another great way to earn victory points is by completing the different achievements, and there's 7 achievements in the game, but the maximum that a player can complete is 5, and as soon as a single player completes 5 of those achievements, that's going to be triggering the end of the game. And each of these is a little bit of a race because the first player to complete an achievement is going to be gaining the most victory points for completing that achievement. And once the end of the game is triggered, players are going to be adding up all of their victory points, and the player with the most wins the game. And if this one sounds interesting to you, you can check it out in the description below.